Hello and welcome. You're watching Today in Parliament with me, Aishwarya Kapoor, and here are the headlines. Bill seeking to criminalise practice of instant triple talaq in Rajya Sabha's agenda. BJP and Congress issue whips to their members. Bill has provision for 3 years imprisonment. Health Minister JP Nadda to introduce bill to regulate and maintain standards of education and services by allied and healthcare professionals in the Rajya Sabha. Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill and National Medical Commission Bill in Lok Sabha. And Companies Amendment Bill 2018 in Lok Sabha's list of business. Appropriation number 6 Bill 2018 is slated for introduction in the lower house. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley to move for its consideration and passage. Important legislative agenda is slated in both houses of Parliament today. After the passage of the Triple Talaq Bill in the Lok Sabha last week, the all-important bill is slated to be taken up in the Rajya Sabha today. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will move the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2018 for consideration and passage. Apart from this, Health Minister JP Nadda will move to introduce the Allied and Healthcare Professions Bill 2018 and 2 bills related to education sector reforms, namely the National Council for Teacher Education Amendment Bill and the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Amendment Bill 2018 are also slated in the upper house. The Representation of the People Amendment Bill 2018 is also listed in today's business in the Rajya Sabha. And in the Lok Sabha today, discussion and voting on supplementary demands for grants is slated. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is slated to introduce the Appropriation number 6 Bill 2018. Jaitley is also slated to move for consideration in passing the Companies Amendment Bill 2018. Among the other legislative agenda in the House are the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill 2018 and the National Medical Commission Bill 2017. Apart from this, the New Delhi International Arbitration Centre Bill 2018 is also listed in today's business in the lower house. In the legislative agenda in the Rajya Sabha today is the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2018, popularly known as the Triple Talaq Bill. The bill seeks to protect the rights of married Muslim women and prohibit divorce by pronouncing talaq by their husbands. The bill seeks to criminalize the practice of instant triple talaq and provides for a 3-year jail term for those found guilty of following the practice. There is also a provision for a fine. The bill was passed by Lok Sabha after an over 5-hour debate. It was put to vote and was passed with the 245 members voting in favour and 11 against it. And in the Lok Sabha, a discussion under Rule 193 is slated today on natural calamities in various parts of the country, particularly in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, with special reference to cyclones Gaja and Titli. Bhartrihari Mahatab and Dr. P. Venugopal are slated to initiate the discussion. Our colleague Kriti Mishra is now joining us live from Parliament. Kriti, now the revised bill to make instant triple talaq a punishable offence is in Rajya Sabha for debate and passing. And, you know, the government has been reaching out to the opposition, but the opposition's parties are meeting to finalise a strategy for the bill. So what are the chances of this bill getting passed in the winter session?
Well, Aishwarya, even as we speak, leaders of the opposition parties have gathered inside the chamber of Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad. They've refused to divulge the finer details, but the sense that we're getting is that the opposition parties are demanding that the bill be sent to the select panel of the Rajya Sabha. Remember, the Supreme Court has already struck down the practice of instant triple talaq, calling it unconstitutional and against the fundamental rights of Muslim women. The Supreme Court had also asked the government to come up with a law to regulate marriage and divorce in the Muslim community. In the earlier sessions also, we saw that the government did bring this bill, but there was no concurrence. Now, the government has made 3 very crucial points, saying that the bill is not aimed at victimizing any particular community, and this bill is meant for justice and equality of Muslim women. And all the criminal offence, the government has clarified that there are other offences and other crimes within the civil realm where this logic or this argument is not given, that what happens if the husband is imprisoned or if the person who's committed the crime is imprisoned, what would happen to the family of the culprits. So remember, the government government has held parleys over the weekend with the opposition parties, and the government is sanguine that this bill will see the light of day in the Rajya Sabha. But it remains to be seen what would be the strategy of the opposition parties on the floor of the House. Aishwarya?
Indeed, the triple talaq bill has been passed by Lok Sabha, but it faces the real test in the upper house of Parliament because opposition really wants it to go to a joint parliamentary committee for scrutiny. But Kriti, apart from the triple talaq bill, what are the other key bills that are slated to be taken up in both houses of Parliament today?
Well, Aishwarya, there is a very important bill, which is the Allied and Healthcare Professions 2018 bill, which is expected to be taken up in the Rajya Sabha today. Remember, this bill is for providing, for facilitating and also setting up standards for allied healthcare professions. This bill, once it becomes a law, is expected to help around 9 lakh allied healthcare professionals. There are other important bills like the National Council for Teachers Education Amendment Bill and the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Amendment Bill. There's also the Representation of People Amendment Bill as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned. Talking about the Lok Sabha now, there are important bills like the Companies Amendment Bill, the National Medical Commission Amendment Bill, and also the Indian Medical Council Bill, which seeks to improve the quality of education, bring in transparency and accountability. So important and heavy legislative agenda in both houses of Parliament today. Aishwarya?
Right. Thank you so much, Kriti, for all those updates there from Parliament there. And HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar is slated to move the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Amendment Bill in the upper house. The bill seeks to further amend the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009. It has been passed by the Lok Sabha. And HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar is also slated to move the National Council for Teacher Education Amendment Bill 2018 in the Rajya Sabha. The bill seeks to further amend the National Council for Teacher Education Act of 1993. It has been passed by the Lok Sabha. And Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is slated to move the Representation of the People Amendment Bill 2018 in the Rajya Sabha. The bill seeks to further amend the Representation of the People Act 1950 and the Representation of the People Act 1951 to allow for a proxy voting and to make certain provisions of the acts as gender neutral. It has also been passed by the Lok Sabha. And Health Minister J.P. Nadda will move for leave to introduce the Allied and Healthcare Professions Bill 2018. The bill seeks to provide for regulation and maintenance of standards of education and services by allied and healthcare professionals and the maintenance of a central register for allied and healthcare professionals. And in the legislative agenda in the lower house today, Health Minister J.P. Nadda will move the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill 2018. The bill seeks to further amend the Indian Medical Council Act 1956. J.P. Nadda will also move the National Medical Commission Bill 2017. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will move the Companies Amendment Bill 2018. The bill seeks to further amend the Companies Act 2013. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will move the New Delhi International Arbitration Centre Bill 2018. And also in the Lok Sabha, discussion and voting is slated on the supplementary demands for grants, second batch for 2018-19. Also, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will move the Appropriation Number 6 Bill 2018 for introduction. The bill seeks to authorize payment and appropriation of certain further sums from and out of the Consolidated Fund of India for the services of the financial year 2018-19. And the following ministers will lay papers on the table in the Rajya Sabha. Harshvardhan for the Ministry of Science and Technology. Mahesh Sharma for the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore for the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports and Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Radhakrishnan P for the Ministry of Finance. Ramkripal Yadav for the Ministry of Rural Development. Haribhai Parthibhai Chaudhary for the Ministry of Mines. Arjun Ram Meghwal for the Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. Mansukh Mandavia for the Ministry of Road Transport, Highways and Ministry of Shipping. And Subhash Ram Rao Bhamre for the Ministry of Defence. And obituary references will be made in the Lok Sabha today. Obituary references will be made to the passing away of former members MVVS Murthy, member of the 10th and the 13th Lok Sabha. The House will also mourn the passing away of Captain J. Narayan Prasad Nishad, member of the 11th and the 13th and the 15th Lok Sabhas. That's it in this edition of Today in Parliament. Do stay tuned. The proceedings of the Upper House are going to commence in a short while from now. Thanks for watching.